What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to do this cool double exposure effect, okay? This is a little bit of an exemplar, but I'll do another one to kind of walk you through exactly what I do. So, I'm going to click on New here, and I'll just do default Photoshop size, because that's super easy. And then I'm going to go into my photo booth. If you want to do a photo that's already online, like you don't want it to be a picture of yourself, that's totally fine. But it's kind of fun if it's you. So I'm going to do one with me looking wildly happy. So I'm going to hit that camera button and smile. Wow, that's a happy Mr. Wood instead of a sad Mr. Wood. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just drop that in there. Wow, so cheery. What a great time he's having. Then I'm going to go into my Google, and I'm going to think of what an appropriate background photo for that might be. So I'm going to do a sunny day. And then I'm going to just look at some images here. We've got some good stuff. I'm liking this one. This looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that to my downloads. Let's call it Sunny. There we go. All downloaded and ready to go. Okay, so that is my first step. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Select, and I'm going to select the subject, which is me. And now that I have myself selected, I am going to go into Select, Modify, and Feather. All right. Going to modify it to 0.5 pixels. Yours might be preset to 5. Just set it to 0.5. And after that's done, you're going to go Command J. Oh. Make sure you have your proper layer selected. That's important. Command J, and you're going to make a new layer. I'll just get rid of this bonus layer for now. Okay, now I'm actually going to get rid of everything except for my smiling self. I've got myself there. This is looking like a relatively good size. If you want to change it up, you totally can by clicking on that crop tool. And let's say oh, I don't think it's quite going to be wide enough, so I want to just widen it a little bit with my crop tool. I'll click done, and then I'll just kind of recenter myself a little bit. And there we go. Everything is looking good. Now I'm going to click on that layer. I'm going to click on my adjustments. That's this one down here, the half circle. And I'm going to go solid color, and I'm just going to actually do white, okay? And so I'm going to click OK, and then I've got this guy before it, and then I'm just going to plop that behind, and I'll rename it background. That's my background now. Okay, now my next step is going to be to select myself in the layer there. And I'm just going to go into my image, into my adjustments. I'm going to click that desaturate button, okay? So I'm going to desaturate myself, get that nice black and white look. Now I know for a fact that I'm going to make a new layer here, and I've got my image that I had downloaded from the before that I'm just going to toss on into my Photoshop, and there it is. Maybe I'll make it nice and fit. There we go. Fits perfectly. Looks amazing. Maybe I'll go over here and I'll drop my opacity to 40%. And then that can give me an even better idea of where I want to place this thing. So it's maybe I want the sun to be a little bit more in it. Let's do this. So in this sort of art, I'm going to just Command T transform here because I've actually decided I want the sun to be a little bit lower. There we go. The only thing that's going to be visible in the image other than yourself is everything that's within the silhouette of yourself. So any of the stuff that's out here on the outside is not going to be visible. So if you have a really nice feature like, oh, I really like this one dandelion, just make sure that's within the frame of reference of your body. Now, having everything look like this, I'm going to select layer 2 again, and I'm just going to go up to select, and I'm going to select subject. now that I've selected myself again, I'm going to click on this guy right here, and then I'm going to click create a layer mask. So I had myself selected. Now it's going to take out all of the background that I wasn't there for. Now we can go back into here. I'm going to hit Command J in order to duplicate this layer, and I'll just drag that up to the top. So now I've superimposed myself on top of myself. I'm going to drop my opacity to like 40, and I'm going to change this to lighten. Okay, there we go. That looks good. So see, I've switched this to lighten. I've changed the opacity to 40. Now we've got that transparency back. Things are looking pretty good. So my next step here is that I am going to go ahead and create another mask, just kind of like a flat background mask. This one's going to be white. So then I can go and click my brush tool here, and I'm going to make sure my foreground color that I've selected, see foreground is the one that's in front. My foreground color is selected, and then if I want to do a little bit of shading to change things up, I can do that. It'll kind of fill this out just a little bit. Sometimes you find you won't need it. I like to do it just a little bit on the face. And now that I've done that, I can actually go into my layer mask as well, and I can, again, darken my face a little bit. Now you're only going to do this if you want that portion of your face. So like if you look at this, if I color all myself in, then I lose some of that transparency, and I don't really want that. So I'm just going to Command Z that, go back to here. I've got that same brush selected, and I'm going to think about, okay, what do I want to be a little bit like for like a kind of artistic sort of vibe? What do I want to be a little bit darker? And for me, I think it's just going to be right in the beard. All right, I just want that beard to be a little less transparent. Maybe you want it to be a forehead, maybe you want it to be whatever, but you can just touch that up to make that look how you want it to look. Okay, so now my next step is I'm going to click on background here. Going to make sure that I've got that double clicked, and it's going to open up this menu. It's going to open up my color picker, and I'm going to choose a color that is part of the image. So I really like just like the green here, so I'm going to click that. That's not quite the green that I want. I want a little bit of a lighter green. Until you find it, you can just keep clicking, it'll keep sampling. There we go. I like that a little bit more. I'm just going to click OK. Now that we've got that there, I'm going to go into here. I'm going to click on the image that I've superimposed onto myself and created the mask for, and I'm just going to go Command J to duplicate that, so it's going to duplicate that layer again, and then I'm actually going to just take the mask off and I'm going to throw it into the trash. Alright, so now that has kind of bumped things back up there to make it a little bit more visible. You can see that the inside of myself has become a little bit better. That piece of sun is a lot brighter. So things are looking good. Then I'm going to need to make a new layer mask for this, but I want it to be a little bit different. I want this to be a black layer mask instead of a white one. So I'm going to hold Option, and then I'm going to click on that Create Layer Mask. So make sure you're holding your Option key while you click on that Layer Mask button. Then, after you've done that, you can actually click on your foreground color again, and this time we're going to change it to white, okay? And then, if you want to kind of lighten some things up, so I really want to like preserve that sunshine that was coming through. So I'm just going to touch that up on myself, make that a little bit happier. Make that feel a little bit brighter. That is the theme of this piece that we're going for. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Maybe I'll brighten up the skies down here too. Yeah, just make things look a little bit happier. So, just very important that you're holding that Option key when you make that layer mask. So that's a black layer mask, then it'll cover everything on the background. And then you can make sure that your foreground color is white on that brush. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click on this layer here. I'm gonna go down into here. I'm gonna click solid color. And then since I've done a pretty green theme for everything, I'm gonna stick with that theme. And I'm just gonna click OK. Now we've got this lovely green color. I'm gonna go multiply, and I'm gonna set the opacity to like 20. All right, if you wanna play with it a little bit, like set it to 25, maybe 30. It's like, okay, yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Now that I've got the opacity set to 30, I'm gonna do something that's a little bit complicated, okay? I'm gonna create a stamp. So the way that you do that on a Mac is you go Shift, Option, Command E. Shift, Option, Command E. That'll create a stamp for that layer right there. And then you'll see that this guy is right here. All right, now, last step is I'm gonna go up into Image and Adjustments and Desaturate. And you might be like, oh no, everything's gone gray again. Well, that's okay, because I'm gonna go into Normal and I'm gonna click on Soft Light. And after I've done that, I'm left with this lovely, lovely image. If you really want to, you can like go into Adjustments, and let's say like I'm like, oh, I want things to like look a little bit brighter because it's happy, or a little bit darker. You can certainly do that. You can play with the saturation if you want. I think that looks pretty good. Change my hue. And there we go. I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. So there we go. Double exposure effect. Lovely happy day on the field. Everything's looking good. Just remember to click on File, and remember to click on Export, and then quick export as a PNG in order to submit it to your Schoology. And I will catch you next time on Photoshop.